The Gnostic creation story, as detailed in texts like the Apocryphon of John, presents a dualistic cosmology that stands in stark contrast to the traditional Judeo-Christian narrative. It begins not with a single, benevolent creator, but with a complex hierarchy of divine beings and a cosmic error that leads to the creation of a flawed, material world. 1. The ultimate divinity and the Pleroma. At the pinnacle of existence is the Monad, an utterly transcendent, ineffable, and unknowable being. This supreme God is the source of all true divinity and is distinct from the creator of the material world. From the Monad, a series of divine emanations, called Aeons, are generated. These Aeons, which often appear in male-female pairs, syzygies, form the Pleroma, or Fullness, a harmonious and perfect spiritual realm of light, knowledge, and truth. The first of these emanations is Barbelo, a divine androgynous entity often called the Mother-Father. From the Monad and Barbelo, further Aeons are born, including the divine Autogenes, often identified with Christ, who creates even more Aeons and luminaries. The Pleroma is a realm of divine order, completely separate from the later creation of the physical world. 2. The fall of Sophia and the birth of the Demiurge. The harmonious order of the Pleroma is disrupted by Sophia, wisdom, the youngest and lowest of the Aeons. Driven by an impulsive desire to create on her own, without her divine consort or the consent of the Monad, she emanates alone. This act of hubris produces an imperfect, grotesque offspring, a being of shadow and deficiency. Ashamed of her monstrous creation, Sophia casts it out of the Pleroma into a lower realm and covers it in a luminous cloud to conceal her mistake. This offspring is the Demiurge, an arrogant and ignorant being who is completely unaware of the higher spiritual realms from which he came. 3. The creation of the flawed cosmos. The Demiurge, also known as Yaldabaoth, child of chaos, Samael, blind god, or Saklas, fool, is portrayed as a malevolent and tyrannical figure. Believing himself to be the sole god, he arrogantly declares, "I am God, and there is no other god beside me." Using the divine power he inherited from his mother Sophia, he creates the material cosmos and a hierarchy of lesser rulers called the Archons, who control the 7 planetary spheres. The Gnostics view this material creation as a flawed, evil prison, a counterfeit of the true, perfect Pleroma. The Demiurge's world is one of ignorance, suffering, and decay, ruled by the Archons who enforce fate and illusion. 4. The creation of humanity and the divine spark. In a moment of cosmic irony, the Demiurge and his Archons create humanity. Hearing a voice from above, an echo from the true Pleroma, the Archons model a physical body after a divine image they glimpse. To animate this lifeless form, the Demiurge breathes a divine spirit into it. Unwittingly, this spirit is a divine spark, pneuma, from his mother Sophia, which she subtly placed within him. This divine spark is the true spiritual self of a human, now trapped within the material body. The Archons, jealous of Adam's superior intelligence and awareness, place him in the Garden of Eden and try to control him. They create Eve from Adam's rib to further divide and weaken him, hoping to prevent the awakening of their divine essence. 5. The Awakening. Adam, Eve, and Gnosis. In the Gnostic narrative, the serpent in the Garden of Eden is not a figure of evil, but a messenger from Sophia. It encourages Adam and Eve to eat from the tree of knowledge, Gnosis, thereby awakening their divine spark and revealing the Demiurge's deception. When Adam and Eve partake of the fruit, their eyes are opened, not to sin, but to the truth. They realize that the material world they inhabit is a prison created by a tyrannical counterfeit god. The Gnostic texts describe this moment as the lifting of the veil over their minds. They see the archons for what they are, ignorant rulers of a flawed world, who are themselves subject to the demiurge. The nakedness they perceive is not a mark of shame, but a symbol of their newfound spiritual vulnerability and lack of material power in the face of the archons. Enraged by this defiance and the loss of his control, the demiurge curses humanity with mortality, banishment, and suffering. This punishment, however, is not a divine act of justice, but a desperate attempt by the demiurge to maintain his authority and keep humanity in a state of ignorance. The Gnostic myth thus inverts the biblical story. The fall is not a descent into sin but an enlightenment, and the punishment is proof of the demiurge's tyranny. By acquiring gnosis, the divine spark within a person can be liberated from the material prison upon death and ascend back to the true God in the Pleroma. The Gnostic Christ is often seen as a revealer of this gnosis, sent to humanity to show them the path back to their spiritual home.